I will call the 6th regular Common Council meeting to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderperson Bellinger.
Here.
Alderperson Borst.
Here.
Alderperson Close. Here. Alderperson Decker.
Here.
Alderperson Heidemann. Here. Alderperson LaFave. Here. Alderperson Menzer. Here. Alderperson Mitchell. Here. Alderperson Perella. Here. Alderperson Rust.
Present.
There are 10 present.
Thank you. Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty. Move on to agenda number 3, approval of the minutes from the 5th council meeting. Alder Perella.
Thank you, Chair. I move to approve the minutes from the 5th regular council meeting held on June 2nd, 2025.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any comments on those minutes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The chair votes aye. Those are approved. Number 4, resignations. Deputy City Attorney.
Thank you. All right, thank you. John Boudry, Minami Boudry, Sarah Engel Stryker, and Lisa Salgado from the Mayor's International Committee, effective immediately.
Alder Perella.
I move to accept and file.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That is approved. Okay, number 5, Mayor's appointments. Deputy City Attorney.
Thank you. Kay Hill to be considered for appointment to the Board of Housing Authority as resident member.
And that will lay over. City Clerk, public forum.
We have one person this evening, Mr. Mike Burnett.
Okay, Mike, if you could bring us up forward, give your name and address, and you have 5 minutes.
Yep. Mike Burnett, citizen 48484. It's not 611 North Water Street. What will it be? Veto of the attorney power and whatever that's going to be for you guys. And it's like literally we come in with a witch hunt, get rid of our attorney, hide behind the stuff with the supposed short thing, but there was a major outage in late October going through December, and people weren't able to get freedom of information requests. Nothing came out until after the elections in April. You're having a closed meeting tonight, and you're going to be spending $900 and some thousand on a property that's assessed at under $400,000 that hasn't exactly been going off the hooks. Who are these men? As I told you over a year ago when I came here, you're doing the thing with the TID districts, you're buying up all these properties, you're not sharing with any of the citizens anything. And it's like quite literally, you're paying exorbitant amounts of land to preferred developers. You tore down a building that was built by the guy who ran Taliesin for Frank Lloyd Wright under the grounds of it wasn't covered as a historical building because of the fact that you didn't update as required by law the historical preservation places, and you changed the historical preservation meeting minutes, and you did this. That building's gone forever. The tick-tock of progress, where we're only voting on this. We're only voting on this. We're not voting on the whole thing tonight. You're literally voting on the whole thing every time you do it, and you're putting one more ball in motion, and all of a sudden the other team is down by 100 points in the 4th quarter, and they have no voice. City Council saying, we're in charge, but we're only part-time, we're only part-time. The mayor vetoing a big thing when going into elections, all of his minions are saying he has no power, and people are like, he has no power. There's power there. You're stilting the agenda. You're doing everything. The project's going up, the apartments by Susha's over there, that whole road is all gone in that since early spring, and it's like you're for sure going through it, but you're going to finalize that tonight. The property, the Blue Moon Studio and that, from what I understand, you're taking it out for about 100 feet of bike path at a cost of about $1 million. The lights that you're putting up out into the TID district, and literally why isn't that coming out of that budget if it's even what you're doing? You found it because none of the other roads needed money to get fixed? Everything about this is just freaking crazy. I mean, and the players, this is Foxconn. This is Claude Lois. This is Von Briesen and Roper. It's the exact same players I warned you about, and everybody looked at me like I was an idiot. Grazia asked the one question that was very important. Are we bringing in the whole team, or are we bringing in this one man? And she was told by the person who was conveniently gone from development really shortly after, she said, yes, we've been working on this so long that we need Claude Lois, but yet you were bringing him in under the guise that he was replacing Dave Beebo and Ryan Zasma to be that their company as the city engineer and the whatever. You're literally privatized Sheboygan. The council, who's supposed to be the people representing the citizens, are not doing it. And it's like, I was the one fighting every step in this. I remember when the mayor called a friend of mine on one night, and my friend calls me, they're taking back City Hall, and they're in Todd Wolf's office going through stuff, and they're going to find stuff to get rid of him. Well, they did. And here we are. And when I thought you were spending $300,000, it's over $500 million, and it's significantly more than that. Why did those people resign from the mayor's committee? Because they're sick of this shit. And it's like, okay, my 5 minutes, I got a minute. I don't really have much else to say, but it's quite honestly, this is ridiculous. The original study on the apartments was something that they did at like a lunch and dinner about 10 years ago, and it said maybe kind of would if there was available housing, would you want? Sure. You don't see Kohler building any apartments. You don't see anything else. And if you hadn't noticed, Relco just is getting rid of people and downsizing. Sargento is building a plant the size of their old plant that's going to be totally automated. Gibbsville Cheese is putting an automation line. Who else? Right up and down the line. And it's kind of like we have a major issue, and the major issue isn't that we don't have affordable housing, because as many rat's nests as you're going to build, they're going to get filled. People will come here for everything. And it's kind of like 14 seconds. Yay!
Okay, thank you. Anyone else from public forum?
No one else this evening.
Okay. Okay, we'll move on to item number 7, hearings. Hearing number 5-2526 pursuant to a notice published and letter sent by the city clerk. This hearing is to allow interested parties to be heard relative to a proposed amendment to the city of Sheboygan's official zoning map. The purpose of the amendment is to change the use district classification of property located north of Pennsylvania Avenue and east of North 13th Street bordering the Sheboygan River from Class Urban Commercial, Urban Industrial, and Railroad to Urban Residential 12 with a PUD layover classification. Anyone wishing to be heard? Anyone wishing to be heard? Final call. Anyone wishing to be heard? Alder Perella.
I move to close the hearing.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
That closes. Okay, number 8. Hearing number 4-2526 pursuant to a notice published. This hearing is for the purpose of allowing interested parties to be heard relative to a proposed PUD-DDP designation for property located north of Pennsylvania Avenue and east of North 13th Street bordering the Sheboygan River. Anyone wishing to be heard? Anyone wishing to be heard? Final call. Anyone wishing to be heard? Alder Perella.
I move to close the hearing.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
That passes. Let's move on to the consent agenda. Items 10 through 40. Alder Perella.
I move to receive and file all ROs, receive all RCs, and adopt all resolutions and ordinances.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. This is a roll call vote. Any discussion on any of those, any item on the consent agenda? Okay. I'll call, okay, open up the voting then. The consent agenda passes. Alrighty. Next up, we have a consideration of veto memorandum filed with the city clerk from Mayor Ryan Sorensen, formerly exercising his authority under Section 2-124 of the Sheboygan Municipal Code to veto ordinance number 1-2526 as amended. Alder Perrella.
For the purpose of discussion, I move to accept and file.
Second.
Who's made and seconded? Discussion on this? Okay, Alder.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
That's Attorney Nick Serwin.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Do you mind if I give text for this briefly?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. And so just as a reminder, I'm Nick Serwin. I'm with Von Briesen. We're helping out for a short time here during the city attorney search process. And I wanted to just kind of give some context to the veto and what kind of the basis for decisions might be, what might happen, and kind of frame that conversation if that's okay. First and foremost, obviously under 62.09, mayors have veto power. Effectively, what your decision will be today is to overrule that veto or approve the veto. Overrule meaning by I believe it's 2/3 vote of all members. You have to vote in affirmative to overrule that veto. Otherwise, as the motion was made on the table right now, you can place on file. It will effectively kill the charter ordinance for the time being, and then you'd have the chance, or we would have the chance, or somebody would have the chance to kind of propose something alternative. There is this concept that you'd have to have something new come in, or you couldn't reintroduce the same legislation. For what it's worth, I've researched that today and in the past and have not found anything in Wisconsin that's responsive to it. Certainly, I think from a practical standpoint, you wouldn't want to reintroduce the exact same thing for the purpose of it just getting vetoed again. But what's on the table today is a discussion about the amendment in general. And so what we can't do is talk about the original language necessarily or amending the original language. We're talking about the amended version in its totality or in whole, and then making a decision what to do based on that. Another, I guess, point of clarification is that when that motion was made, to amend the original charter ordinance, the motion was to reflect the city attorney to report to the common council instead of the city administrator. The charter ordinance didn't have explicit language effectuating that. That was more from the job description, which listed that. The job description could change. And so what I interpreted that as adding language to the ordinance, the charter ordinance, that would specifically clarify that position. So that's a lot of talking. From my perspective, if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer those. Otherwise, I'll be quiet from here on out. And I just wanted to put some context for the decision you have now.
Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that. I was going to throw my 2 cents in before I open it up to the rest of them. Also, I just wanted to say I'm okay with this veto, and I think that if we do a reset on this, we can have a little more discussion. We can bring it back to committee and discuss it a little bit more and make the necessary changes that we need to do. So I will open up the discussion. I believe. Let's see. Trey would be the first one on there. We'll open it up to him.
Thank you, Chair. I will be supporting filing the veto, essentially accepting it tonight, but just looking back at how these votes have gone, I wanted to give a little bit of an explanation since I voted against the amendment, but for the actual amended ordinance once the amendment passed. Just essentially the core objective of the charter ordinance was to change the position from being elected to appointed, which I still believe, I won't relitigate this all, but for reasons already stated, would be a positive for the city overall. I didn't like the changes in the amendment, but the amendment didn't change that particular portion of the ordinance, So I appreciate that Attorney Serwin clarified that this is something that we still can reconsider in the future, whether that's near future, perhaps a little further down the road. In the moment after the amendment had passed, I was not sure whether or not that was the case and wanted to make sure that we still accomplished that core objective. So I agree that if we can have more conversation and we can do this in a more considered manner, that's going to be the best way forward.
Okay, thank you. Alder Perrella.
I respectfully disagree with Mayor Sorenson on this. He states that the ordinance was crafted with input from alders, among other stakeholders. But as an alder, I do not recall having been asked to look at the proposed ordinance in detail to give my input on the specifics. I recognize that a thoughtful policy-making process takes time and research, but it also takes coalition forming and discussion to reach consensus, and I have not seen either effort attempted by the mayor with the original ordinance. The mayor states that inadequate research of how comparable municipalities handle similar matters should inform our decision. I completely agree. In the last 2 weeks, I did such research by reaching out directly to several comparable municipalities. 6 of them responded, and my research revealed unexpectedly, I was very surprised by this, a huge variety of government solutions related to the role of the city attorney. While only 8 to 13 municipalities of the 190 cities and the 415 villages still elect, therefore we are, looks like, aligned with the trend of changing to appointing the city attorney. However, of these 6 responded, and the results are that, just as an example and briefly, La Crosse, the city attorney reports to the mayor, and to be fair, they do not have a city administrator. Greenfield, there is no city attorney. Law firms are hired ad hoc as needed. West Allis and Eau Claire do have the city attorney reporting to the manager, to the city manager, although Eau Claire doesn't have a mayor, so that option is not even there. Brookfield, the city attorney reports to Common Council. With that said, I want to reiterate that there is a huge variety on the scheme of reporting of the city attorney, appointed city attorney, to the rest of the government and leadership. The amendment passed by the Common Council is only one of the many schemes that the state of Wisconsin makes available to choose from. In Wisconsin, we have that option. It's not always the case. It's a valid solution, and one can, in my opinion, can ensure more checks and balances than others. With that said, if the veto passes, I will be welcoming any opportunity for discussion, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Anyone else? Alder Bors.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to express my appreciation for Alder Perrella sharing the information that she just did with regards to the research that she had done. I think that there are others among us who feel a bit conflicted about the veto, and I think that she captured that very succinctly. I would say that I think that the misstep potentially that we made was not having more discussion rather than moving forward with a vote previously. And this does allow us still to take the opportunity to do that. And I do hope that we will have further discussion on this matter and we are able to reach a similar conclusion. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Alder Heidemann.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. If you go back and look at the Finance and Personnel Committee meeting on 5/27, there was only 3 members there, which with an issue as large as this or as important as this, I wish there would have been a total committee so that they could have discussed it. But not at any time did any one of the members of that committee say anything about amending that ordinance. So all of a sudden, I don't know where it comes out of. It didn't come out of committee. They didn't look to try to amend that charter ordinance at committee and then send it to the Common Council. But yet all of a sudden, when it comes to the Common Council, then we want to amend it. Again, I'm going to support filing this document. I want to know that what's the time frame in which we get this ordinance back, or is the new ordinance going to Finance and Personnel at the next meeting?
I think I can answer some of that, if I could, Mr. President.
Sure.
And Council President. First, to answer that question, I can draft up a revised version and have it to whomever would like to disseminate it by tomorrow, frankly. I can work on this pretty quickly. I don't interpret the discussion as being a wholesale start over, but maybe more of one where we have a dialogue about what the committee would like or the council would like to see. That I am completely capable of doing and happy to help with. One additional point or points that I'd left off is kind of the way the statute works for control of the city attorney or any appointed position in general. The way the charter, I don't want to get too much into weeds with the old language, but when a council appoints in a position, the only way to remove that position or to remove that individual in that position is via 17.12 Wisconsin statute. If an officer is appointed by the Common Council can remove that individual at pleasure. What that means is a 3/4 vote of the Common Council. And so for your edification as the Common Council, when this individual becomes appointed or would become appointed, if the charter would ever pass, you would have the end all be all or the say in, I guess the rubber meets the road with the Common Council with removal. And so you always would have that authority, provided you are the one appointing that position. If it's appointed by the mayor or somebody else, that would change the dynamic. I also do and did at the outset review municipalities with the population closest to Sheboygan, and so I can go through that if you want. It does echo largely some of what was already said on the record, but I have more context if you want that. I don't want to speak out of turn.
Okay, thank you, Attorney. Okay, anyone else have any discussion on this? Okay, this is a roll call vote. This is a vote to file it.
Nine.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. 9 ayes, 1 no.
Okay, thank you. That passes. All righty. We'll go on to number 42, Report of Officers, RO number 18-2526 by City Plan Commission, to whom was referred General Ordinance number 2-2526 by Alderperson Close, amending the City of Sheboygan's official zoning map of the Sheboygan zoning ordinance to change the use district classification of property located north of Pennsylvania Avenue and east of North 13th Street, bordering the Sheboygan River from class urban commercial, urban industrial, and railroad to urban residential 12 with a PUD overlay classification. Alder Perella.
I move to accept and file.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on this? This will be a roll call vote. Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on one second. Alder Mitchell.
Just looking at the agenda, did we want a motion to file this or a motion to adopt the ordinance?
Motion to adopt.
Okay, the motion we have on the floor right now is to accept this and file it.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
So what do we do?
What do we do?
Motion to amend.
You can move to amend your... You could move to amend your motion, or you could proceed with the motion, let the votes be as they are, and then do a second motion.
I move to amend the motion.
Second. To what?
Just to adopting.
To adopt.
Moving to adopt the motion, the resolution.
So first we have, I moved to
Alder Perella, I maybe was not communicating clearly. You would have to make a motion to amend your earlier motion as follows, and then you would say how you want it to actually be.
Very good. Thank you so much for that clarification. So I make a move to remove the amendment, and I move to approve and to adopt the ordinance.
Second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded on that. Okay, now is there any discussion on there? Let's see, Alder LaFave.
Sorry.
Oh, nothing, okay. All righty.
I don't.
Alder Close. Go ahead.
So, sorry, that was originally to make the motion for.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, no problem. All right, then, then we are, it's a roll call vote?
Ten ayes.
That's approved. Number 43, RO number 30-2526 by City Administrator Casey Bradley, submitting for your information the proposed 2025 budget schedule and the 2026 preliminary fiscal factors for guidance prior to departmental budget preparation. Alder Perella.
I move to accept and file.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? This will be a roll call vote.
Ten ayes.
Motion passes. Okay, number 44, reported committees, RC number 65-2526 by Public Works Committee, to whom was referred direct referral resolution number 41-2526 by Alderpersons Decker and Rust, informing the Department of Natural Resources that the 2024 compliance maintenance annual report has been reviewed, recommend adopting. So we would need a, how do we do this now?
I got it.
Okay, Alder Rust.
I move to receive the RC and adopt the resolution.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on this? Alder Mitchell.
Thank you, Chair. I just saw that, the motion was made in committee to adopt the resolution, but it failed due to a lack of a second in committee. Just curious if anybody that was either on the Public Works Committee or was able to tune in for that one could clarifar what happened.
What was happened is
It was a mistake.
It was a mistake during the committee. What happened is a motion was made before the staff member was able to speak. We had the staff member speak. I felt that a second had been made, but it hadn't been, so that's what we.
It's just procedural.
Just a procedural.
Anything actually being discussed regarding the resolution?
No, actually, no.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Alder Bellinger.
Thank you, Chair. I was just going to reiterate some of the same things that you just said. I quickly made the motion to approve, and apparently there was not a second. And I unfortunately was cutting off Jordan's time, but he was able to speak. We did go through it all in great length, and again, it was unfortunate that there was not a second, but that's what happened. So it's partly my fault. I take responsibility for that.
Thank you, Alder Bellinger. Okay, that would be it for speakers. Then this is a roll call vote. Okay.
Ten ayes.
Motion passes. All righty, matters laid over. Resolution number 22-2526 by Alderperson Close, approving the general development plan and specific implementation plan submitted by Riverview District LLC.
Sorry.
Did I miss? I'm sorry. I missed number 45. I am very sorry. number 45, RC number 442526 by Finance Personnel Committee, whom was referred direct referral resolution number 352526 by Alderpersons Mitchell and Perella, authorizing the purchase of 74.43 acres in the town of Wilson, identified as parcels from the Sharon F. Thimmig Survivors Trust, 121312. Alder Mitchell.
Thank you, Chair. I move to receive the RC and file the resolution.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion on this? This is a roll call vote.
Ten ayes.
That's filed. Okay, now we'll go to number 46. Resolution number 222526 by Alderperson Close, approving the general development plan and specific implementation plan submitted by Riverview District LLC for construction of apartments located north of Pennsylvania Avenue and east of North 13th Street, bordering the Sheboygan River within a planned unit development zone. Alder Close.
I move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
No, that's the same thing. It's, yeah, that's what it's.
Sorry, ignore me.
Okay. Okay, motion made and seconded. Any discussion on this? Okay, this is a roll call vote.
Ten ayes.
That motion passes. Okay, we've come to number 47 as a contemplated closed session. Alder Perella.
I move to convene in closed session under the exemption contained in Wisconsin Statute S. 1985-1G for the purpose of discussion related to a possible investment of public funds to purchase property at 834 North Water Street.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. This is a roll call vote.
Ten ayes.
Okay, we will be going into closed session. We will be reconvening in open session before we adjourn for this evening. Thank you.
Put your mic on.
Okay, there we go. All right, everyone's back. All right, Alder Perella, can you have a motion to bring us back into open session?
Sure. I move to reconvene in open session for possible action relating to the matter discussed in closed session.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. We need a roll call vote on this.
Alder Bellinger.
Aye.
Alder Borst.
Aye.
Alder Close.
Aye.
Alder Decker.
Aye.
Alder Heidemann.
Aye.
Alder Lefebvre.
Aye.
Alder Menzer.
Aye.
Alder Mitchell.
Aye.
Alder Perella.
Aye.
Alder Rust.
Aye.
10 ayes.
Okay, thank you. We are back in open session. Okay, and we'll bring in to the matter of RC number 49, RC number 432526 by Finance and Personnel Committee, to whom was referred direct referral resolution number 332526 by Alderpersons Mitchell and Perella, authorizing the purchase of the property known as 834 North Water Street from Blue Moon Studios Incorporated. Alder Mitchell.
Thank you, Chair. I move to receive the RC and adopt the resolution.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. This will be a roll call vote.
Alder Bellinger.
Aye.
Alder Borst.
Aye.
Alder Close.
Aye.
Alder Decker.
Aye.
Alder Heidemann.
Aye.
Alder Lefebvre.
Aye.
Alder Menzer.
Aye.
Alder Mitchell.
Aye.
Alder Perella.
Nay.
Alder Rust.
Abstain.
8 ayes, 1 no, 1 abstain.
Okay, that passes. Alrighty, seeing as we've exhausted the agenda, Alder Perella, what is your prerogative?
I move to, so sorry. I move to close the session.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Thank you, Chair.